Hi everybody, welcome again to the Ink Nouveau. I'm Brian Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and I'm going to get right to it today. Today I am going to compare side by side the Moleskine Ruled Notebook and the Quo Vadis Habana, because a lot of you have questions about the differences between the two, and I'm going to give a side by side detailed description of everything. You're going to have to excuse me, I am going to use some notes today just because I have so many details that I'm trying to cover. I've done a lot of research on the two of these and I want to make sure that I cover absolutely everything. So first things first, the Quo Vadis Habana, it's Habana, you can call it whatever you want. Moleskines, Moleskines, Moleskine-uh, you can say it however you want. Moleskine-uh is the proper name for this notebook. It's originally Italian, so there you go. But everybody I know calls it Moleskine, or Moleskine, whatever you want to call it. I really don't care. As far as the history of the two, the Quo Vadis Habana, this version is made in America, the United States. It's 90 gram, uses Clairefontaine paper. Habanas that are sold in other parts, other countries, other parts of the world are not the same as these. These are different. So these are better than what you're going to use, but that's what I sell. I'm in the U.S. So the Moleskines, they are, you can see here on the back, hopefully I can hold it good enough for you there. It says made in China, but you know, bound or whatever in Italian. Yeah, printed and bound in China, designed and assembled in Italy. So the difference between the two of these right off the bat is the Habanas are using Clairefontaine paper, all made in France, from that manufacturer, and the Moleskine, they source out their paper to China. So that's why a lot of you who have used Moleskines before for fountain pens will run into a problem with consistency of the paper quality. That's because there's all different companies making them and you never know what you're going to get. So that covers that. I want to be fully disclosed here. I do sell the Habanas. I sell all Clairefontaine products and Quo Vadis and all of that. I do not sell the Moleskines. So I may be a little bit skewed, but that's okay. I'm just getting that out in the open. So take everything I say with a little bit of a grain of salt and do your own research on the quality and everything yourself. I'm just really trying to get into the side-by-side comparison of the two of these things. Now, where can you buy them? I sell Habanas. A lot of people online sell them. The Moleskines, I bought this at Barnes & Noble for 17 bucks. The Habanas typically go for 20 bucks. As far as the details, I'm going to spin you around here and show you some of the details. The Moleskine and the Habana. First thing you'll notice when looking at these is if you look on the side, you can see kind of like ripples in the paper of the Moleskine. You can tell right away the thickness. The Moleskine is a little bit thicker, and the reason that is because of the paper count. The Habanas have 80 sheets, so that's 160 pages, and these have 240 pages, which is 120 sheets. So you do get more sheets of paper for your dollar for the Moleskine. Both of them have elastic straps. The Habana one hugs a little bit tighter to the book when it's open. The Moleskine droops down like a loose pair of underwear or something. And I also don't like how this is kind of flopping around. There's nothing to really secure it. It's just kind of held in place there. I bought it at Barnes & Noble. It was kind of in this condition. It was a little bit torn. It was the last one that was there, so I'm gonna be a little lax about the quality of the notebook as I got it. Anyway, so I'll take off the bands because that's not really necessary for this part of the review. Okay, so that just slides off there. Okay, so first impressions of the notebook. You can see by the size. These are the size of the two. The Habana is a little bit taller, and the a little bit wider. So you're definitely getting a bigger size there. So you get more paper with the Moleskine, but you get more size with the Habana. Here's the logo on the Habana down there in the corner, and the logo on the Moleskine is in the back. Okay, nothing on the front. The covers, this one's a real thin cardboard cover. The Habana's cover is a little bit thicker, and it's more of a leather, it's a leatherette, so more of a leathery feel. As far as the flex goes of the cover, they're probably close to the same. The Habana is actually a little bit looser than the Moleskine. This one's a little stiffer, but it is thinner. So the nice thing about both of these notebooks is that they lay flat. And what that means, if you look down here at the binding, when you have it open like that, from the very first page You can see my notes there, but the very first page, the notebook lies flat while it's open. There's no real hump or anything to have to deal with, so when you're writing, you don't have this weird hump like you do in a normal book. And if I thought of one, I would have brought one to show you what it looks like. But anyway, and the Moleskine is sort of the same thing, where if you open it up, the first page is kind of glued to that page, so it kind of opens up like that. But you know, very similar, not quite as well. The one difference between these two is the thickness. The overall thickness of this thing when it's open is about 14.5 millimeters, and this one is only 11. What that means is when you're writing, okay, and you have your hand as it goes off the notebook, how much of a drop is there going to be when your hand is writing off the notebook? It's really only important on the front part of the notebook and the back when the paper is going to be its thickest. But I noticed one of the first things with the Moleskine is that it's got a really sharp drop. So when I'm, like me, I have big hands, and when I'm writing at the very top, it's okay because I'm on the page, but as soon as I get about halfway across the page, my hand is kind of dropping off. And then I'm really having to shift and change. So for me, writing, it's really not comfortable because my hand is constantly rubbing off the page like that. And I could see where I could wear my hand really bad. It's not quite as bad like that with the Habana, especially because the paper is smoother, the edges are a little rounder, it's not quite as sharp, it's not cut as sharp as these are. So that kind of covers the laying open thing, because I know a lot of people have questions about what laying open actually means. The sizes, I'm only comparing the larger sizes here today. Reason is because there's a lot of different sizes and colors of all these different notebooks, but the Moleskine is 5 inches by 8.25, and the Habana is 6 by 9. So you can do the math about how much extra paper that actually is, but like I said, you know, it kind of evens out with the amount of paper that you get here. Now, as far as the rulings go, that's one of the first things that you'll notice between the Habana ruling and the Moleskine ruling. If you compare the two side by side, you see quite a difference. The Moleskinas have a 6 millimeter ruling, and that means that you get, let me look at my notes, 31 lines per page on this size Moleskine. And the Habana has an 8 millimeter ruling, a wider ruling, which I prefer, but some people don't, and that gives you 26 lines per page. Another difference too, obviously, white paper, off-white paper. The two are not interchangeable like that. This one always comes off-white and this one always comes white. So that's another thing to consider. Smoothness of the paper, I mean, Clairefontaine, no question. Clairefontaine wins. I mean, the Clairefontaine paper is just some of the smoothest stuff, and this certainly has more tooth to it, has more grab to your pen, which you may like. I don't know. That's up to you. Me personally, I like the smooth stuff. So anyway, that kind of covers the linings. Let's see what else. What I did, oh, the paper weight. Here we go. 90-gram paper weight in this stuff. The 90-gram Clairefontaine is the same stuff they have in the staple bound, the wire bound, cloth bound, all of those fine Clairefontaine notebooks. The other thing I noticed when I was actually tearing out the piece of the Moleskine notebook is that it's held by stitches, right? That's how it's bound. And if you look in here, you can see it's all these groups of papers, maybe 20 pages or something like that, and they're double sheets like this, and they're folded over and then they're stitched in the middle. That's how they're able to lay flat like that, because rather than having a straight glued binding, they're able to bend and flex like that, and that's how they're able to lay flat. When I tore this out, I noticed that there were 3 stitches. You can see them. There's a tear. 1, 2, 3 stitches holding in the paper in this Moleskine. And when I looked at the Habana, I noticed that there, if you can see it here, well, let me get you to the middle of one of those bindings so you can really see here where the stitch is. Okay, there we go. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitchings. So this paper is going to hold up, I can just guarantee you this paper is going to hold in the journal longer than the other stuff, because the paper is thinner in the Moleskine and it's only held by 3 stitches instead of 5. So that's something to take into consideration. Also, the fit and finish on the Habana is just much better. But you're paying more. You're paying a couple bucks more too, so you would expect that it should be a higher quality.